automation, as you said, has been around for quite some time. It's not new. But my experience over just the last 3 years is that discussions among executives, certainly in my engagements as well as many of my colleagues, about automation has really ramped up over the last 3 years, perhaps sparked with the onset of COVID, but growing ever faster over time. And so when I have these discussions, I take the usual economics professor perspective. Okay, let's think about the cost-benefit trade-off here. I'd really love to get your thoughts on the simple taxonomy I bring to those discussions, if you don't mind, and get some of your feedback and nuances. Sure. So when I think about the pros, there, as you mentioned, the sort of obvious cost savings / belt tightening, to use your words. But I always viewed automation, certainly when talking to operations people, as being much more than just a cost-saving mechanism. Right, I think about lifting growth, increased revenues. That's coming from increases in productivity. I think about the increases in flexibility, the increasing value of the real options many companies hold, the increases in scalability. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some of the potential costs or cons of automation that I see, and this is really where I'd love to get your thoughts, being an expert on the subject. You know, the first thing that comes to mind is risk, both in terms of implementation and execution. And there was a wonderful analogy shared with me by an executive about the risk of automation. They drew an analogy to acquisitions, right? So in an acquisition, we see the rosy synergies and all the upside potential from cost savings and revenue growth. But the reality on the back end is often a little bit different in terms of the integration costs that are never fully understood before the deal is concluded. And so there's one, the risk side, but two, is it really a panacea, right? Or is there a specific time and place or company for which automation is particularly appropriate?
Yeah, so I think what's important is the world is now moving to, or has moved to cognitive automation. Earlier, the word was robotic process automation. And the latest buzzword is generative AI. So let's not go to generative AI yet. Do you have your data in place? If you have data in place, automation will give you not just the cost savings, but it will help you deliver experiences based on personas that you define, different stakeholders, be it employees, customers, or community at large. So automation has tremendous potential, but there are certain underlying elements that you have to have in place. And majority of companies have not gotten it together. They have invested in tools. And what has happened is we have to make it simpler. We have to demystify the term automation, bring it all together, help them leverage the existing assets. So almost a kind of orchestration that one has to do to make it easier for companies to leverage the power of automation. Now, talking about governance, in this world of AI, governance is extremely important. I remember the phrase which used to exist, to err is human, to completely screw it up, you need a computer. So in that sense, automation can actually multiply if you are making a mistake at much faster than human beings will do. So in that sense, for you to look at the algorithm and ensure there is proper governance is extremely important. And keeping inventory of all the automation elements that you have inserted in your system is also important, because it's almost like inventory management of what you have done. Because if you don't know, suddenly that knowledge would be lost and you wouldn't know what's happening in your systems. So tremendous potential, good return on investment, requires careful governance and requires some foundational work. But do we have a choice? Is an important question. Can you afford not to embrace automation? Can you stay away from this race? Can you face the new economic reality that is unfolding without leveraging automation? Can you continue to exist where you're not delivering and shaping experiences of different stakeholders? Those are the questions which business leaders must ask. And I mean, to me, the answer is obvious. If you want to be in the game, you have to be in the race to deliver experiences. And automation is a fantastic, if I may, the platform for you to enable that. It will also help you to do belt tightening, as what we were discussing. But that shouldn't be the main objective. The objective should be, get sharper, generate more revenue, generate greater experiences, able to attract, retain talent because they feel everybody is treated in a very unique fashion. And that's possible through automation as well.